This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 2 of Public Speaking for Your Career, where we're diving into the backbone of any great presentation, how to actually structure your message so it sticks. Today we're breaking down the key pieces that turn a jumbled mess of ideas into a clear, compelling story that your audience will remember. Let's get into it. Most people forget almost everything they hear within a few days, except for one kind of message. You're standing in a meeting, halfway through explaining your idea, and see faces glaze over. The paradox: your content is smart, but your structure is invisible. That's what we fix today. Only about 10% of an unstructured message survives in people's minds after a few days. Yet most technical presenters still brain dump their thinking in the order it occurred to them, then wonder why smart audiences don't stay with them. The missing piece isn't more detail, it's a deliberate path for listeners to follow. In this episode, we shift from having good ideas to engineering how those ideas land. You'll see why the classic opening, body, close isn't a cliché, but a reflection of how memory actually works. We'll connect this to the hard limits of attention in real meetings and demos, where every minute of confusion quietly erodes your influence. Think of the difference between wandering through a city alone and walking with a local who knows exactly which turns matter. Your message can be that kind of guide. In tech, the trap is assuming that clarity lives in your slides or your code. But what actually shapes how people follow you is the sequence in which they experience your thinking. Humans don't absorb information like a hard drive. We move through it like a level in a game, checking landmarks, unlocking doors, deciding whether to continue. That's where a three-part message becomes practical, not academic. It lets you decide when people should be intrigued, where they should work hardest, and how you want them to feel at the end, not just what you want them to know. Think about what happens in the first 60 seconds of a meeting where you're presenting a new architecture or product decision. People aren't absorbing details yet. They're subconsciously asking three questions. 1. Why should I care? 2. Where is this going? 3. What will you want from me? That's the job of your opening, not to dump context, but to negotiate attention. A strong opening in tech usually does one of three things: names a concrete stakes, latency, revenue, risk, exposes attention, what users need versus what the system can do, or connects to a decision on the table today. One or two sentences can shift the room from background listening to "this matters to my world." Once you've earned that attention, the body of your message should feel like a sequence of deliberate steps, not a tour of everything you know. The trap: trying to mirror your internal thought process. Instead, mirror the listener's problem-solving path. For a technical audience, that often means problem, constraints, options considered, chosen path, implications. Notice what's missing: exhaustive history, every experiment, every tangent. You can keep those ready for Q&A, but they don't all belong in the main path. This is where Amazon's narrative memos are instructive. The memo forces a storyline: context, problem, options, recommendation. When you present live, you're doing the same thing, just out loud and in real time. The memo exists so listeners never have to guess, "Why am I hearing this now?" Then there's the close, which most technical speakers underuse. Ending with, "That's it? Any questions?" abandons the moment when people are actually deciding what to do with your idea. A purposeful close does three things fast: crystallizes the single most important takeaway, makes the immediate next step explicit, and reconnects to the stakes you opened with. Even in a 3-minute update, you can land on, "So here's what this means for us this quarter." Notice that none of this requires you to be more charismatic. It asks you to be more intentional. Instead of measuring success by, "Did I cover everything?" you start measuring by, "Did I make it easy for them to follow, decide, and act?" In practice, this three-part flow can flex to very different situations. Think of a 5-minute stand-up update. The opening might be a single sentence. We're blocked on the payments API, and it puts Friday's launch at risk. The body is just 3 beats. What changed? What you've tried? What's still unknown? The close. We need a decision on A versus B by 3 p.m. or we slip the rollout. Same architecture, compressed. For a 30-minute stakeholder review, you widen the lanes. The opening can anchor to a quarterly goal. The body becomes a small set of named sections: current state, options, recommendation. Each section starts with a headline sentence before you go into detail so people never feel lost. The close moves from summary into commitment. If we agree today, here's what happens this week, this month, this quarter. Your challenge this week: take one upcoming meeting and sketch only these headers on a sticky note. Open, 3 to 5 section names, close, then fill in bullets after the skeleton feels right. As AI starts drafting more of our words, your edge isn't in typing faster, it's in deciding what goes where and why now. Tools can pour out paragraphs, they can't yet sense which point must land before a VP's question or which detail will unblock a skeptical architect. Treat your talk like pacing a marathon. You choose when to surge, when to slow, when to sprint. In AR or VR, that pacing gets even more literal. Listeners will still need clear narrative trails through dense, immersive worlds. Treat this like training a muscle, not polishing a script. Each time you map an opening, middle, and end, you're really practicing choice: what to surface, what to park, what to save for questions. Over time, you'll sense when to zoom out for execs or zoom in for engineers, the way a photographer swaps lenses to fit the scene. Before next week, ask yourself, where in my current presentation or email do I lose people? Could I experiment with opening it using a clear problem, promise, preview structure instead? And what exactly would that sound like in my own words? If I had to state my core message in one sharp sentence that passes the so what test for my specific audience, what would I keep? What would I cut? And what support points truly earn their place? The next time I explain this idea, even to a friend, how could I deliberately move through the structure from context to key point to concrete example to clear next step? And what feedback could I ask for to see if that structure actually landed? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow.